Okay, hello guys. This is a review and demonstration in light and dark of the new TruGlo TFX Tritium night sights with fiber optic inserts. These are the replacements or the next generation of the TruGlo TFOs. And so let's show you the package here first. This is how they come. Mind you, these are for the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. They're not installed here, but that's what these particular ones are made for. Let's come back up here again. All right, so what's the main difference between the TFOs and the TFXs? Well, the main reason why I didn't buy a TFO is because of this reason. TFOs have the really exposed fiber optic insert. So I've had fiber optic sites before, and they're really prone to cracking or chipping. And once that happens, you can forget it. Like whatever side cracked or chipped is going to be way dimmer than the rest of the sites, and you might as well just either write them off, try to find a new insert, try to find an insert and then cut it and melt it to fit it in there yourself. Or it's just a nightmare. So I didn't get the TFOs. I waited until somebody came out with a fiber optic tritium combo that had a kind of encapsulated fiber optic core here, and that's what the big difference between the TFOs and the TFXs are. So the TFXs have back a totally encapsulated fiber optic here, and back here tritium vial. So that way you can't crack the fiber optic, and it stays nice and bright no matter what. So this is the package, and let's crack them open. So open them up. These are brand new. I think they only released them just maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Maybe just in January, actually, maybe 2 months ago. So what are some of the things these have? So besides the encapsulated core, they also have something that they call front sight lock, or focus lock. And all that is they added a white ring, let's see if you can see it there, to the front of the front sight. And they say it's easier for you to lock in on and keep the front sight focused. And I'll agree, I do think that does its job. So they claim to be the brightest that you can get, or in this case, the brightest 24/7. Now, I think has a little asterisk next to it, because during the daylight hours, if you were just in a normal room, or let's say you went to the range, okay? The range is usually a pretty dim place, and that's where these kind of fall down a little bit. So let's turn off this light here and try to simulate a range, okay? So what happens is that with no direct light or sunlight, they just kind of fade to this yellowy green color. And if it wasn't for that front sight having that white ring, it'd be really hard to distinguish them, to my eye anyways, from the green parts from the black parts, and especially if it was a little bit dimmer in here. I might switch the lights here. Let's try that. Here. So if we look at them now, dim it down a little bit. Okay. There we go. It's not really helping much, is it? They just kind of look plain, right? Especially with the black rings around the rear sights. If they had added this white ring, you see there on the front sight, to the rear sights here, I would be a big fan of these, and I would highly recommend them. But just because they have the black rings on the rear sight, it hurts the way that they work here, and I'll show you why. So this is in like moderate lighting, okay? That hurts. If you compare it to the next sight that I'll show you here, these are the AmeriGlos, and I'll do a separate review on them. Their rear sight has that white ring around the tritium inserts, and on the front it has this bright day glow orange around a tritium insert. But more on that later. But if you compare the two, I just wanted to show you, it's much easier for me to pick up these white rings in moderate lighting like this than it is to focus in on these kind of dull green things with a black ring around them. The front sight on the hand is great. I do like that. Okay, so let's get the lights back on. Now we'll leave it here. Okay. Alright, so what I want to show you now is what they look like at nighttime, okay, and show you how they glow. So what I'll need to do is I'll throw them back in this thing that it comes with. This is what it's going to be like, okay? So when you see them, when I turn the lights off here, the two here in the front, you'll see two side by side. That's the rear sight. And then you'll see one in the middle here, and that'll be the front sight, okay? Turn the lights off. Okay. All right, so let's get focus going here. There you go. Okay. So those are the rear sights and the front sights. And that's pretty much how they're going to glow for you on your firearm. That looks pretty nice. I can't complain about that, especially with the sunlight feature that I'll show you here next. That's pretty healthy. I think they'll serve you well. They're certainly not the brightest night sights that are out there, and I'll show you which ones I think are, and maybe I'll show you quickly here. The AmeriGlos that are on this my shield right now, I've tried a whole bunch of night sights with, and these ones are easily the brightest. I think ProLight is coming out with a new set here shortly. Might give it a run for its money, but here, I'll show you. These are AmeriGlos, and they're on the slide right now. That's why that front sight is so small. There you go. So let's let it focus in. That's pretty bright. So if I hold up these rear sights right next door to the AmeriGlo, so over here on what will be your left viewing side are the TFXs. Okay, so to my eye, the ones on your right side, the ones that are moving right now, are the AmeriGlos. They seem to look brighter to my eye. You might have a different outcome or a feeling if you get a set of each of these, but this is what they look like for me. And then for the front sight, slide the front sight kind of into the frame here. All right. For the front sight, there you go. So the AmeriGlo is the one I'm blocking out and flashing right now, the one kind of high in center, and the TFX is over here on what would be your viewing right. So let's take it back off again here. So this is TFX front sight. Let's get it focus in here. There it is. Okay, this is closer to the camera. That's the TFX front sight. This is the AmeriGlo front sight. So not nearly as close to the camera because it's on the slide. And if I just go ahead and throw the TFXs right in next to it here, literally right next to it, that's what it looks like. So they're pretty, I mean, they'll work, the TFXs, but they're certainly not the brightest at nighttime. They are, however, sometimes the brightest during the day. And I took a little video here on my phone, and I'm going to go ahead and throw that in here so you guys can have a look at what it looks like to use these fiber optic tritium sights in in the daylight compared to normal settings. And in the daylight, these things really do they glow, and they glow pretty well. If I was going to go outside camping or hiking, any place where I was in direct sunlight, I would almost definitely go ahead and throw a set of these TFXs on my firearm, because they're great for daylight, and they are more than acceptable for the night sights as well. I mean, there's a lot worse, there's a few better, but on the whole, these are more of a, if I'm outside in direct sunlight shooting, this is what I would go with. Okay, so here comes the direct light fluorescent green video I just took. Okay, this is TFX's kind of in normal lighting, and then if you can imagine, you went out into the daylight, they really light up quite a lot green. Okay, so as you come down, daylight, you come up into the sun, they start glowing a lot. That's the fiber optics.